Dr. Kianze from Korea to tell us how they're dealing with implementing ICT strategies at Catholic University.
Thank you very much. I'm Father John Chrysos Chaze from the Catholic University of Eastern Africa. I do not have a presentation on PowerPoint, but I shall just go through quickly some of the issues that we are handling to be able to be ready for the next level of the next generation. And as Professor Kashoda has said, connectivity is not the only issue, but a number of other things that must be put in place as a preparation for that readiness. At the Catholic University, which is now a 26, 27-year-old institution, really getting into gear for e-readiness has been a story of the last 10 years. Previously, it was not so much on our agenda. And during this time, infrastructure became a priority, putting up the necessary infrastructure. Apart from making sure that the local area network is established, fiber is put in place, we have now evolved a new learning resource center, which is a combination of library and conference center, together with the supporting section to do with the cafeteria and those that. And this learning resource center is going to be our main center for delivering the next generation of ICT-enabled teaching and learning, research, and general interaction. And that will be open not just to the students and staff of the university, but to the general public, which will also include community service, because the pillars of our university are research, teaching and learning, and community service. And we want to look at e-readiness in that whole totality. That construction is almost nearing its completion. We hope that in the beginning of the coming calendar year, we shall be in a position to put it, to open and start using it. And so in view of that, we are also, have worked out with KENET to have a center there. I think Professor will probably comment on that, whereby we shall have a kind of a hub fully managed by KENET to be able to offer services not only to Catholic University, but to the neighboring institutions. And I think the other question that is really challenging is power, which I want to connect with the rest of the infrastructure that is put in place. Power, as you know, even within the Nairobi area and probably up country and other countries, is a very big challenge. So what we have tried to put is the backup generators, a big one that can go on for up to 10 hours if the power has gone. But I think it can even do more, although one has to be careful not to overstretch that as well. So at the main campus, but also at the other campuses. We are at the university with 3 campuses, in Nairobi here, Nangata, then one in Kisumu, and one in Eldoret. And in all those, we have arranged for extra power to be on standby. A question of finance. All these things require a lot of money, a lot of finance. Apart from the university depending on fees from the fees of the students, we have also always strategized to get funding from other sources. Being, for us, we are a Catholic institution, we have also links with the Vatican, with Rome, but also with other Catholic institutions around the world. Episcopal conferences, first of all, of Eastern Africa, but also of other various countries, and that helps us to be able to get. But I think now the challenge that we are thinking of is to also look at the possibility of getting funding through applying for research grants. And I think that we haven't yet really gone that direction, but we are thinking of that. Another point that we have also put in place, in order to change the culture and encourage the entire university to come on board in order to embrace the new technology and the e-readiness, a special appointment in the staff has been made for someone to be focused on e-learning and all that is required to produce e-readiness for that. So that is now a member of staff who is mandated to work with faculties, with all departments, with all the stakeholders within the university, and also to source out the linkages with other universities and outside, so that we have a proper approach. I think that office will need to be strengthened, maybe by getting representations. In fact, already there is a team that is composed of people chosen from different faculties and departments who come together to discuss the issues of training, issues of culture change, mentality change, to encourage everybody to embrace this. And I think what was presented in the morning has also been one of our greatest challenges in the last 4 years, where the inclusion of everyone and the winning of the opinion of everybody is really critical if success is to be achieved. And we implemented an academic management system which is now giving us a lot of challenge, and I will want to also talk privately with the people who have experience in this, so that we learn from each other to be able to support that movement. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Now we're going to have Anthony Bishaba from Baraton. He's going to tell us how they've used wireless networks to implement e-readiness strategies at Baraton.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I'm from Baraton University. Baraton University is a Christian institution in Rift Valley province. I want to focus on the wireless implementation. Like many of you who had to start networks, our challenges, I remember starting our building our networks right from the beginning. The challenges that we have had is that many networks have evolved out of needs and not planning. And at the end of the day, you realize that you have a network that is a monster in terms of trying to manage that network. And so some of the things that you have to do is try to restructure the network so that it's now able to effectively serve the ICT services that we need to serve the institution. One of the challenges that we had was accessibility to network services. And this of course, contributes to the e-readiness or the readiness of the institution to take up ICT services. And so we had a problem of accessibility. How do we provide enough computers for everyone? How do we establish networks so that everyone can go to get network services from almost every area that they are in? And thanks to that, from last year, KENET organized 2 important trainings. One was on campus, building campus networks, which was held, I think last year, I can't remember the exact date. The other one was building campus wireless networks. And through these trainings, we were able to build capacity from in-house so that we could be able to develop, one, our network infrastructure so that it could be able to support many of the systems that we want to deploy. And secondly, the wireless network so that it could be able to provide access to students. This, of course, would help so that the institution doesn't have to provide computers for every student, and especially with today's availability and affordability of computers, especially laptops. And so the uniqueness of the campus project that we deployed was that it was funded by the students. Graduating students from the university have a culture of doing a project. And so what we did as ICT department, we did a proposal and we told the students that you could help fund a wireless project because this project would actually eventually help your fellow students. And they were quite happy with that. So we did the project, did all the specifications, told them the benefits, and we took the project. Then the other thing is that we were able to do the project ourselves, and therefore it was able to reduce the budget to a significant level so that the students could actually be able to sponsor it. The whole budget costed about, or the whole project costed about 1.2 million. The other thing that I would like to talk about is the structure. Once we were able to get the students to fund the project, we had to sit down and design the whole network. Again, as I said, from the experience, what we had previously was that most of the networks that we were doing were coming out of need. So a department says, we need internet. We get a cable from one place to another place. And so this time we realized that we needed to sit down first of all, look ahead and do a plan so that the wireless network would effectively be able to serve the needs of the university. And we did a design. And in the design, what we did was to, first of all, separate the whole wireless network from the campus area network. That is the wired network. And in that, we used the 5 gigahertz radios to do the backhaul, and then we used the 2.4 gigahertz radios to do the access point. And with this, we've been able to cover all the areas of the university, right from the dorms, the residential areas, and basically we have access to, people have access to internet literally from every point. There is a challenge though, of course, because our topology and our environment is that we have got a lot of trees, and so sometimes there is quite a lot of interference, but at least good portions of the university are covered with wireless hotspots. Then, as I said, implementation was a very, very important factor to consider, and what we did was first of all to come up with a design. We looked at how we could be able to design the network well, in which we first of all said, let's try to separate the wireless and the wired network. Then we also looked at the equipment that we needed to use. An important factor here was the consideration of cost. And so we decided to use MikroTik radios for 5.4 gigahertz, and then we used the Ubiquiti nanostations for 2.4 gigahertz radios. Then in terms of implementation again, what we did was, we first of all designed the whole network. I didn't come with the network because of time, but I would have presented that. But what we did was, we went to the lab and tried to put the whole project in the lab. So we first of all tested the whole project from the lab. Then from the lab, we were now able to do everything. Some of the challenges that we had when we were developing this was, sometimes there are not readily available things. Like for example, what we do is that we have a tower, a 72-meter tower that is KENET funded on our institution. So all the 2.4 gigahertz radio, point-to-point radio, come from that tower. And then we have some other poles which now provide the point-to-point radios to which they connect to the tower. Now, being able to design the whole structure was a problem, but we had to sit down and see the best way to go about it. But it was fun. I can say it was fun in doing that. But the best part of it is the fact that the ICT department now owns that project, and we can be able to maintain it. Unlike a situation where we could have subcontracted someone else, because that was in the beginning a thought. We could have subcontracted someone else, but we were able to own the project, and now we are able to maintain it. In conclusion, I can say that the project, one, has increased network access, and many people are able to get our ICT services from wherever, whether it's from their houses, from the fields, so they are able to get that. Then the second thing is that it has had, of course, a tremendous stress on our human capacity, which means that our ICT support team has now to deal with ICT support, wireless support, which of course has increased that. And I would like to conclude, for the sake of time, and say that developing, especially wireless campus network, when you do it, especially from an in-house point of view, you develop your people so that you're able to own that network. And in case there is a problem, you're able to support it better, and you're able to work around it. But of course, it has got quite some challenges, because unlike the wired network, wireless people are everywhere. Someone calls from the house and can't be able to connect, so it brings some challenges. But at the end of the day, to me, I think it's a very good thing, because it increases the accessibility and therefore improving the institution's readiness to take ICT services.